I have Tracy here, and she is from, I'm going to let you introduce your company and tell us what you do because it's so interesting.
Thank you. My name is Tracy. I am the owner of Hado Being Aura Photography. We do aura portraits and readings. Basically, we have a camera that was um, built and designed kind of. This camera was not built in the 70s, but the design was created in the 70s by a man named Guy Coggins. And basically, there's two silver plated hand sensors that you place your hands on. Those are able to pick up your kind of biomagnetic feedback, the frequency that you put off through your hands, which line up with the meridians in our palms. And that picks up your energy and it takes your portrait and displays your energy around you as your aura. And then we're able to kind of interpret that as what phase you're in right now, what your energy says about you, some things that you can work on during this energy phase, and maybe some things that you could feel but you weren't sure. It's a great confirmation when we've been working on things within ourselves or in our lives, to see them show up in our energy field. It's kind of like uh, I don't know, being on like a fitness journey and getting on a scale and seeing that your work is paying off, or
Yeah,
something like that. It's a visual confirmation. So pretty cool.
that's exactly what it's like when you get on those, like where they give you the BMI and the this,
Right.
that. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
so all those hours in the gym actually
It's
mean
worth it.
something. It is worth it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so cool. And then I love how you break it down because I've had my photo done by you and I can't wait to get one. I need to get one in the next month or so to kind of see like a 1 year difference.
Yeah.
The way that you break it down, it was just like I was just, and it was the beginning of my process of starting this business, and it
I
was
remember.
exactly what I needed. I was like, okay, I can do this. My energy says
Yeah.
it, like it's coming from me. It's not an outside force. It is directly my energy showing me what I can and need to do.
Yes.
That's so perfect. So how did you start this?
So I mean, growing up, like I guess like they used to call it woo woo. Like woo woo stuff was like very normal in our family.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize until probably like middle school or high school that it wasn't normal for everyone, because in our family, in our household, it was like very normal to like see things or hear things or get like feelings and then like talk about them.
Hmm.
And so this whole realm of things was very normal for our family. But I got into it actually. I had never heard of aura photography, but I was living in Denver, and a friend of mine who was like very into um, this kind of stuff said that there was an aura photographer kind of coming to town doing like a tour, and it was Radiant Human, Christina Lonsdale. And so we went, and to see my energy in a visual form was
Hmm.
just incredible. Like I looked at my picture and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's me."
Oh,
And I cried. It was just like, "Wow, that's just it's so special to see yourself in that." And so from there, that was probably 2017. And so from there, I kind of it launched me kind of onto a spiritual journey from that point. It was kind of like, I mean, it was always in me, but it was
mhm.
kind of the catalyst for
Yeah.
what I'm on now. Um, and so that was kind of the beginning of it. And I was like so obsessed with aura photography and energy and auras and things like that. And I would go see her anytime she was in town. It was probably like once a year, which wasn't enough. And I just really thought that it was something special. And I really wanted it to be more available to people. And I wanted it to be more available to me. And I thought it was something that should be available. And I was doing a meditation one day, and this was at the beginning of the quarantine. Actually, I spent a lot of time meditating during quarantine. It was just such a weird time, but it was good for something. Um, and so I was meditating one day, and it just it came to me like I could see all these colors, and like it was like clear as day. Like this is readily available. You can bring this to your community. And I was like, me, I can't do that. And then
Wow.
it was just like, yes, you can, like, trust the process, like, just listen to us. And I was like, okay. And so, yeah, that just kind of was the beginning of it. And it all aligned so perfectly. And I don't want to say like starting a business was easy, because it absolutely
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was like meant to be. And I was like, all right, I hear you. Like, I'll do it. So there, here we are. It's been a little over 3 years, I guess, because that was 2020. Yeah, almost four.
Yeah, you're very natural. I've seen you in action. It's very like it, and it's a lot. Like you had how many people that day that we were at Lanisa's house? You had like a decent amount of people.
It was probably close to like 20, and like back to
Wow.
back. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, and I've done a lot more than that in a day now. Um,
But that's
and
a lot because you're
it's a
getting
lot.
everything. Like there's the
It's a
intuitive
lot.
part. It's
Yeah,
not just
yeah,
like here's a picture, here's the colors, have fun. Like you're giving insight, deep
right.
insight. So to the energy that it takes, what has that process been like learning yourself and trusting yourself in that way?
So for me, like, I have always been a feeler since I was little. Um, I can feel energy, and I can feel, like, my intuition is crazy good, but I
Yeah.
don't always throughout my life trust kind of what I'm feeling until it hits me over and over and over, and I'm like, okay. And so for me, it was a matter of just getting comfortable with trusting the messages that were like coming through to me,
Hmm.
and having the confidence to say them and know that they would be like received well
Yeah.
by people, because sometimes people need to hear things, and sometimes it's hard to say and sometimes it's hard to hear,
Hmm.
uh, but I never give anyone a reading that's bad. I never say like, "Well, your energy's horrible," and
Yeah.
because there is good in everything. And even if you're struggling with something, like, let's talk about that and how we can
Hmm.
change it so that we're not stuck there.
Exactly.
Um, yeah,
I love that part of it too, because it like it goes back to that inside idea, and like it was a big reason. There was like a handful of really big things that made me decide to open and start my business. But you talking to me was like, oh my God. I remember I was sitting at the table with you and Ingrid. And that's how Tracy and I know each other. I met Ingrid 13 years ago. I was like, I just had my first baby. We met at a job we had in San Luis Obispo. And then Tracy and I met in San Diego, like complete opposite sides of California.
yeah,
But I was telling you guys, like, I really want to start this business, da da da. And then Ingrid was like, I was your Ingrid, we're like, well, do you do tarot readings or oracle readings? And I was like, what's the difference? Like, I literally didn't even know what the difference was at that point.
yeah.
That was a year ago. And then, but
That's
the reading,
crazy.
right? And the reading that you gave me, it's like, and I've done like 100 readings since then with oracle and tarot, and now I know the difference.
Yeah.
But it's just it's such a beautiful insight for people to get the inspiration and to get that trust too, because I feel like a really big message I'm getting with you and your business is you can show people how to trust themselves, that
Yes.
how to take this leap of faith. I think that you're a real good example of that.
It's hard, and I won't even lie and say like, yeah, just trust yourself. It's so easy, because we have been told, everyone has been told, I'm sure their whole life, different things on um about their choices, and it's easy to second guess things, but we all have an inner guidance system. We all have that, and it's just a matter of aligning with that and trusting yourself, and knowing that you know exactly what to do. No one needs to tell you um, what to do or where to go or how to be. It's everything you need is inside of you. It's just a matter of listening to that and trusting that. And I think the beautiful thing about what you do, like coaching, is that some people are not in a space to trust themselves or listen to themselves, or they don't know how to get into alignment.
Hmm.
And having someone that can kind of guide them into that so that they are able to trust themselves and listen to themselves is really important.
Yeah, when you start questioning and you start realizing that there's a bigger purpose to everything, the good and the bad, it's like you become there's no limit. Like when you
Yeah,
change that shift in your perspective of like, wow, that was a bad situation, but I'm gonna learn from it and I'm gonna grow from it. Nothing could ever be for face value bad, because
right.
you're now using it as power, like pain is power.
Yeah. for sure.
That's huge. What is so during your process the last couple years starting your business, what are some good lessons you've learned that you would pass on to new business owners?
Ooh, don't give up.
Yeah.
That would be probably number one. I mean, sometimes it seems like impossible. Like, how's this ever going to work? This is really hard. And you might spend more money than you make in the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, but just keep going. I mean, don't give up and trust that this is where you're supposed to be and that you do, have purpose in this and um, just like be resilient. There's just nothing more than being resilient and also be open to things happening in a way that maybe you didn't see
Mm,
because it's not always the way that it's almost never the way that we think it's going to go, you know,
yes.
as
I
is life.
that really what do they say? Make a plan. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's very
It's so true
that's so
because we have
true.
this idea of how this is my life plan and this is what I want to do and this is my business plan, but you might get it. It just might not be that way. So
Yeah, the
it's
path could
important to
definitely lessons.
surrender.
Exactly, detaching and surrendering, having the
Yeah.
idea. I think with you, you're doing something that you really love and you're so in tune with it. Like it came to you in a meditation, like you saw the colors, you saw what you're supposed to do. So it's really the idea of like the goal is the peace, the goal is to be doing what you love. Let's not overthink the how in the process. Let's just think about that energy that we want to obtain, that we
Exactly.
want to live in,
Yeah, exactly.
which then
I
the
mean, because there's a million ways to get there, right? Like anywhere we want to be in
Mhm.
life, there's so many different ways to get there. You don't have to fixate on exactly what that looks like because it might change and it might be even better.
One single path, exactly.
Yeah.
And then so with that, I think that ties into a lot of like spirituality and going back to the trusting yourself and trusting the process and really trusting the timing, the divine timing of how everything works out. Because I know for me, this last year, I've only been doing this a year and so
Yeah.
much like I had an idea like it's going to be like this and I'm going to do this. And then I was like, oh, so that's not how it's going to go. Got
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
That's funny.
Exactly.
Joke is on me. What like when it comes to spirituality, like, I really had to rely a lot on like my spiritual team and trusting that I was being placed, even the doors closed, were just redirecting me to the ones that were supposed to be open. How have you tied your beliefs and what does spirituality look like for you in this process? Mention like don't give up. The real in that I 100% co-sign that because the last 3 months I've been like, you know what, I'm gonna wrap this up and just go back to regular life. But
Yeah.
it's really trusting your faith and leaning on what you believe.
As you know, um, I started this business in Denver,
Mhm,
um, and I actually started it with my son. Like when I started the bit, he had come to all of my aura portrait sessions with me, and he was like really into it. He loved it. And so when I decided to do it, he was part of it. And I told him basically, you can earn money if you want to come. And he was like,
mhm.
yes, yes, yes. Um, and so I started it with him, and he would come to like pop ups and come to the studio with me. And he always knew what everybody's aura was going to be before we
Aw,
opened the picture. Yeah. And he'd be like, I knew it. That's the color I knew they were going to be. And he loved it. And so I started this with him. And as you know, uh, I lost him in January of 2021. So within a year of this idea coming to full fruition and starting the business, I lost him. And I really didn't think that I could continue doing it, to be honest.
yeah,
Uh, it just, it was too hard. I mean, living beyond that is hard,
yeah,
but doing something that had shared with someone who is literally your everything.
mhm,
I didn't think I'd be able to pick it back up again. And I'm telling you, like, you have to just listen to your guides and listen to yourself and trust that this is where you are supposed to be. And no matter what comes your way, just keep going.
Yeah, that is, I mean, literally does not get any harder than that. Like that is it definitely is the top of what life can give you.
Yes.
Um, and it's something to go through. Um, in that and forever and forever and forever and forever. You both are always in my prayers. I just love you both to death. And I unfortunately didn't get to meet Ben in this life, but he's just the best thing ever. I know that.
I know.
And he's so bright and amazing. And
Yeah.
but then in that, it's getting to be able to get past that and find and trust your faith, trust your spirituality. Like you said, trust your guides that it's like, okay, we gave you this, but we're gonna push through and it's and would you say a piece of it is also like in memory of him because he was so tied to it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, after I got past the point of like, the trauma response, I guess, to it, like seeing my camera because I was at the studio the day that I lost him and so getting past like the trauma response to like that, after I got past that, it was like, yeah, it's an ode to him. I mean, if I don't do it, I can just hear him in my head like, "Mom, what are you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
"Yes, you have to keep going. Yes, keep doing this. I love it. I'm here with you," you know? Um, so of course, yeah, I bring him with me to everything I do. I mean, he's always around, and his energy is just it's always there.
It's so powerful. And that,
Yeah,
my last podcast, I was talking to my former mentor and she mentioned turning your triggers into tools.
yeah,
I feel like that's very valid for you because you know he's with you, you're intuitive, you feel him, and it's using
yeah.
that as power, as a tool to go forward.
And I mean, something that I've learned, I mean, just on this journey, after I took a break from it, obviously, and it was like after something like that happens, and I don't like to say like things happen to you because it's not
Mhm.
true.
Mhm.
Um, I don't believe so. I don't think that, like, oh, bad things just happen to me or it's just my luck. I don't believe that. Um, and as hard as that is, like, people say like this horrific thing happened to me and I have every right to be angry. And of course, absolutely. But um, in my belief, that is like putting yourself into like a victim mentality and
Mhm.
staying there is a low vibration.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yes, of course, we all have things that happen, but you can you can take those things and say, I chose this life. I made this plan. My soul decided to come here for a reason. And this was the lesson that I chose. This was part of it with my soul group, with my soul family.
Wow.
Um, and and you can say, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? You can't There's nothing you can do about things that have happened except for your perspective on things and saying, this was the life that we chose to do together. And what am I supposed to do from here? And so that's kind of where I have come to, I guess.
And that's the power. Like that's the power that I wanted everyone to hear from you because it's just and in my moments that I've felt down and I was getting in that pity party and that life is happening to me in the business sense, I
Yeah.
really remembered you. Like I don't know if you understand how much you come to mind on like a daily basis with me because
Oh,
it's just like the first time I met you was a very big experience with you and I really got to tap into your energy and how amazing and strong you are. And I
oh,
was
thank
just
you.
like, I got no excuses. Like, oh, I look like giving up. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Go
No,
get
it's
it.
normal, right? It's
Yeah.
normal. There is an ebb and flow in our alignment and in our power and in our strength and our um trusting ourselves and what we're doing. And in everything there is duality too, right? Like
Mhm.
there is light with the dark.
Yes.
And with every bad experience, there is, I don't want to say good, but there is a side to it that can be learned from where our souls are able to grow. And that's exactly why we come here is to grow as a
Exactly.
soul.
And you hit it on a minute ago. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
Yeah.
Some experiences, it's harder to apply that, but like I was saying, when you're able to make that shift, it really becomes a sustainable energy shift, and when life gives you those hard lessons, it's like, okay, you have the tools, you have the mentality, the spirit to persevere and to be resilient and to make something of it, to make it worth something, and you
Otherwise it's for nothing, right? Like
exactly.
otherwise what it's for nothing and you're just suffering for absolutely no reason. And to me that doesn't make sense. I'm like, this just can't be life. Like
It's
it's got to
insanity.
be more. Yeah.
And you're just a beacon of
So,
that. You're just a beacon of how we should respond. It's not reacting, it's how are we responding to life? Because
right.
reacting is emotional, reacting is falling into a massive depression and just being there the rest of your life versus
Right.
responding and knowing there's a big purpose, and just to be able to experience what you've experienced and to be able to say like, no, I'm getting through this and it's going to be power and I was meant to learn this. Like nobody has excuses. Like everybody needs to hear that and apply that to life.
Yeah, and I won't sit here and say like you're not allowed to be angry about what
Mhm.
happened and you're not allowed to feel some kind of way because that's natural. That's the human part of us. You
Yeah,
yes, of course, when things aren't going our way and bad things happen and it of course it gets you down and of course you feel like this sucks. I hate this, why is this happening? Of course.
yeah.
But you can't stay there, right? Like you're allowed to be there and feel through it, but like don't please don't stay there. It's
That's the
it's not a
point.
good space.
I've had people in coaching sessions where they're in very hard spaces that I've been in. I get it. That's why I'm able to talk to them because I've been in those deep, dark holes. But the idea is don't unpack and live there. Feel it, honor it, it's
Please.
valid.
Yes.
Do not unpack it. And that's what you did not do. You did not unpack and live there. You took your moment, you had it, you grieved in the way that you should, and you moved forward with life. Like it's such a hard thing to say, but such a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah. And I can't lie and say like, oh, it's easy and I'm perfectly fine. Like I have human days where I am just not okay. Like I
Hmm.
have days where I'm like, this just can't be. And like, what is life? And
Yeah,
I allow myself to have those days and I allow myself to again grieve and feel angry that this, he's not here or whatever, my life. And then you get out of it. You say, okay, now it's time to get up and it's time you to be in your purpose and it's time to continue doing what you're here for. Like, you got to get out of it. Like you said, don't unpack. Please don't live there.
please, people, do not live there and
Don't live there.
let this be like the biggest. If this was ever meant for someone to hear it, like I hope it really gets put in front of people that it's going to help push them past those spaces in life.
Yeah,
No matter what that space is, it's unique to all of us, and no one's journey is less than just because someone else's was more intense. It's
of
really,
course.
human feelings are valid. We're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yep.
To have your kind of mentality, it's contagious. I really want to embody that, and I feel like meeting you was an insane blessing because
Oh yeah.
throughout this last year I really applied that, like, okay, what you're gonna do is take a second and cry, and then you're gonna get up and keep it pushing.
Yep. Yep. But stay in your alignment, right? Like don't
Mhm.
get out of alignment. Just you fall out of alignment if you need to, but get back in because you
Yeah.
have a purpose here and remembering who you are is that's what we're here to do. And it's so funny, I was going to tell you when you said beacon of light again, this is so
Mhm.
funny. So yesterday I know you said something about a lighthouse and a beacon of light and I was just like, oh my gosh. So I was like nervous about coming on here and doing a podcast and talking. I like to stay behind the scenes, and I don't know why. I'm working on that. But I was like, should I do it? Should I not do it? I don't know if I'm ready to talk about like, what I think because you feel like there's people who are like judging you or whatever it is. But I have a lot to say, and I do think that it is valuable and useful
Yes.
um, information. So, anyways, you said that yesterday, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Like, I got it. Because when I first lost Ben, I was sitting in the dark
Mm.
and I was just thinking, like, what is this? What is life? I don't understand anything. Everything I thought I knew, I don't.
Yeah.
And I heard him say, Mom, I'm a beacon of light. And I
Oh
was like,
my God.
I said, what is a beacon of light? And he was like, like on the lighthouses that the ships use to guide them in the dark. And I was
Oh
like,
my
Yeah, so he was, like, telling me what a beacon of light is, and I was like, "Okay," and he was like, "When you're in the dark and you're feeling lost, just look for me. I'm the lighthouse. I'm the beacon of light." And I was like, "Okay." And I literally had to go Google what a beacon was because I didn't know, and I was like, "I need to know more about this word, like, I don't understand." But
Yeah.
he said it to me, like, clear as day. So when you came on yesterday and you said that, I was like, "Okay, I'll do the
Wow.
podcast. Got it." Yeah.
That
So I
kid
just had to
is
tell you that.
so strong. He is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said you, but also Ben, when I had, my moment where I was channeling him, and
Mhm.
he really, like, I really, really owe him a lot because he gave me a lot of confidence to start this journey because I really was scared. I doubted
Yeah,
myself a lot. And he came through clear as day, one of the clearest messages I've got to this day. And every time when I go out on markets, I just get a little bit of his energy and I feel him. And I
yeah.
just feel like I owe him so much because he did
Uh,
for me.
he's such a hype man, I tell you, like, he is,
Legit.
like, the biggest cheerleader. He is always like, "Yeah, come on," like, I mean, in in real life and now, like, he's always been like that, so
The little hype man, that's what he is. Oh.
he really is the hype man. Let's go," clapping, you know?
Yep, yep. Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's for the beacon of light, and those 2 messages and the hype man are just beautiful.
yes.
I love that, and thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's, again, another, that helps a lot of people, and there's
Well, and I didn't wanna, like, touch on that too much because I am here to, like, uplift, and my story is in fact a tragedy for sure, but there is light, you know, and I really do believe that we choose this life. We create our own, I believe we create our own contracts, and we say, you know, these are the things that I need to learn, and there are karmic debts, and there are things that we need to experience in a human form in order to ascend. And
yeah,
so as hard as our experiences are, um, I really do believe that we have a soul family, we have support, we are supported, we have guides,
yes.
and this is all part of what we are doing. We're supposed to be doing.
It's so much bigger than us, I feel like there's
Oh
such
man.
and collectively too, as a
Hmm.
collective, like and we're in an amazing time where we get to uplift each other, and there's so much power in community when we choose
Yes.
the right people. And that's part of the lesson too. We choose wrong people to teach us lessons. But I know you have an amazing community. We share a bit of a community and they're just
Yeah.
the best people. Shout out to
They are.
Lee.
Yeah, they really are. And like the more that I get out there and network with different people and come across different, I feel like so grateful for some of the people that I have met. This year was like my business really grew and took off a lot this
Yeah.
year as far as like just getting out there and expanding and stuff like that. And the people I've met have just been incredible. I'm so grateful. Yeah,
I think that's one of the best parts of community that you build, especially in this area that we're in. The spirit it's more spiritual, I guess, kind of community.
for
And
sure.
what that means to each person individually. I think we all have the intention of ascending and enlightening and enlightenment. And that seems to be a common in the community. And that's kind of what we get from each other. We all teach each other and learn.
Yeah.
I'm definitely grateful for that. What does 2024 look like for you in your business? Because yeah, 2023 was like every time I post on Instagram or I look, I see you're somewhere, and I'm like, where is she next?
Yeah, it was, like, so busy, and I mean, mostly it was, like, between Ventura and San Diego, but,
That's
it
big
was
business.
busy. Yeah. I would love to, like, for 2024, my goal is to obviously continue what I'm doing, but I would like to expand a little bit more. I have things that I would love to say a lot, like just messages that I feel like I get, you know,
Mhm.
on a regular basis that I feel like people could benefit from hearing. And so I would like to expand on a little bit more than auras and just some some energetic things, some spiritual things. Um, and then I would love to travel outside of California for auras, outside the country for auras, um, just reach as many people as possible, you know, because I do think it's a really valuable experience to have that self awareness, because everything starts with self awareness, right? You can't really do any of this without being first aware of yourself and your energy and things like that.
I love
So
that
I would love to
yeah,
expand. Yeah.
when you said expanding and going outside of California, I got so many chills in my legs, like, I
Yeah.
felt like I was running. I think that's
Yes.
definitely gonna be a vibe for you next year.
Yes.
She's in, like, 2
Um,
seconds, like, we're already at the end of November, so
I can't believe it. It's gone by so fast. But and I was like, what did I even do this year? I didn't even travel this year. And as you know, like traveling is like a very big thing, you
Yeah,
know. But I didn't. I was so busy working that I really didn't travel much this year. So hopefully next year will be like work and travel put together, which would be super fun.
that's what I say, like, get paid to do what you love, but even further than that, get paid to travel to do what you love.
Yes. Yeah, and bring it to different places.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
everybody needs to experience one of your sessions, both intuitively and the photo. They are
thank you.
both major game changers in life. I had asked you, when I was messaging you, what would be, so let's say there's a movie made of your life, to give people an idea of Tracy, the
Yeah.
you're about, what would be, so the intro song to the movie and then the ending credit songs to the movie?
Like I really thought hard about this question. And it's just like to me it's such a hard question because there's so many songs, right?
Yeah.
Um and I don't know that I've ever heard a song that perfectly depicted anything in my life, but there are two songs that I either smile or cry or I get like the chills when I hear them.
Mhm.
And so I would say the intro would be Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra,
Oh.
and the ending credit song would be Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Oh my god, I love those.
Yeah.
That's so peaceful, like, it's just such, like, I just feel like that equals a beautiful life.
Yeah, and that looks different to everybody, right? Like a lot of people could look at my life and say like, "Well, that's a hard life." But uh, I feel very fortunate to my sisters and my mom are like, and Ingrid, my cousin, who are just I feel so lucky to have this life with them, because I wouldn't be who I am without them. And I feel grateful to know people like you and
Mm,
just have this. There's so much female power in finding yourself and your gifts, and then being supported to share those gifts and help raise the vibration on Earth because it needs it.
I love that. I'm a big, something that I've really come to realize this year talking with clients and marketing so much is I don't wanna say I took for granted the people that I have in my life because I don't. I adore and I love and appreciate you all, but it was really shocking to hear that not everybody has this, what we have.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, what? But and
I know.
that's hard.
I know. I know. Yeah.
I
You
just
got
I
to find your people.
Yeah, I want everyone to see that. I want everyone to see, like, their 1, the resilience and the power that is behind you. 2, like, a genuine good person. Like, everybody I'm interviewing and talking with on these podcasts, I want everyone to leave these podcasts, and I wanna guarantee, like, you guys are going to leave with gems of knowledge, you're going to leave with inspiration, you're going to leave with your mind you're gonna be thinking a little different after hearing the people I talk to because
Yeah.
I'm so blessed with meeting amazing, genuine people, and I've realized that unfortunately is not the case for everyone. So I'm like, okay, through me, you're going to meet a good person.
You're going to meet them all. Yeah.
You're gonna hear them all. So thank you so much for talking,
Oh
opening up
my
to
gosh.
me. You're just the best. I adore you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I feel so grateful that you were like, do you want to do this? And I was so nervous. I was like, I don't know. But
I've had to get
I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, and it's 2 ways, this has helped me out so much, I've gone out of my comfort zone too, because like, I gotta be like, "Oh, I gotta ask people if I could talk to them about the things," and,
Yeah.
rejection's gonna be there's gonna be people that are gonna say no, and that's gonna be okay, but I'm very grateful for everyone that said yes.
You know what? When people say no, though, it's like
Mm,
whenever an opportunity doesn't come through, there's a reason for it. And it says more about the people than it does you. Like for me, if I had said no, it was because I don't feel
mhm,
like, oh, nobody wants to hear my story. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say, but
yeah.
need to be heard. And I'm so grateful that you started doing this and I'm really proud of you. This is a
Thank
big deal.
Thank you. Like I said, a bit
Yeah.
you were a huge piece of the push. I feel like I got pushed out of the nest, like, "Go." Where can we find you on social media? How do we book you? How do we contact you?
So I always announce all of our pop-ups on Instagram, at Hado Being, Hadobeing. And on that note, the people are always like Hado. Hado is a Japanese word and it means energy.
Mm,
And so essentially it means that we are energy beings rather than human beings.
ooh,
So yeah, yeah, at Hado Being, and then all pop-ups have a booking link on our website, which is www.hadobeing.com. So you can pre-book, you can walk in. Either way, we will get you in because I would love to see your energy.
yes, please.
Yeah.
If you have an opportunity, definitely stop by, see Tracy, and get some very intense insight, necessary insight to your life.
Thanks, Fernanda.
Thank you so much. You have an amazing rest of your evening, and
You
we will
too.
talk soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, bye.
Bye.